Hey, business building warrior, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Another great episode with a recently successful coaching student who's using the REPLENS system to sell on Amazon, that system that we teach in the Proven Amazon course. Yes, here's yet another of the dozens and dozens of recent episodes with a new student. Today's guest was, up until not too long ago, a full-time bartender living in New York in a small apartment with some roommates, very little room to operate a business, but she managed to build something pretty incredible. The way that she met a member of our community who got her turned on to this podcast and our community and our training, and then later she went on to begin succeeding in a really big way, as you're about to hear. And actually, she's become a coach on our team now. It's just pretty incredible. And she has a lot of energy. She has a lot of excitement about the business model. She's seeing a lot of momentum right now. And in her own words, she'll tell you she was very intimidated when she realized that her friend that she met at the restaurant where she worked was working on Amazon using e-commerce. She was very intimidated. Like, I can't learn e-commerce. She knew nothing about it. But she has learned it. She stuck with it. She bit off one bite at a time and figured this thing out. And she, like I said, has a beautiful business now. Most recent month, about $40,000 in total sales at just under a 20% net profit margin. She'll talk more about that. She's well on her way to $100,000 a month, she says. She shares that with us today. She mentions a few things she mentioned that of note that I want to make sure and point out. A tool called Tactical Arbitrage, which you've been hearing us talk more about here recently. We've got a good number of students who are starting to use that tool in a very creative way. We have a good discount offer for you on that tool in the show notes today, as well as a brand new course that came out recently as taught by two of the mentors for our guest today. Two of her mentors put that course together, and they both just recently had a $100,000 month separately. Two different businesses both hit $100,000 rolling 30 days using some unique online sourcing strategies. Because remember, I told you our guest today lives in a small apartment. She doesn't touch or handle her inventory. She buys it online and she has it sent to a prep center. And that prep partner sends the inventory into Amazon and she just gets paid for having selected the right inventory, which is what we teach you how to do. It's the whole point of our REPLENS strategy, is teaching you the right inventory, the right listings on Amazon for you to go sell against. In many cases, right alongside, as you'll hear today's guest describe, right alongside multiple other Amazon sellers. She went from doing nothing on Amazon in her life to, within a very short period of time, selling $10,000 a month using very manual sourcing strategies. Again, in New York, I guess she had to get in a cab and drive and go to the stores. And she was using the strategies, kind of proving this thing, built it to a $10,000 a month business fairly quickly. And then from there, she decided she didn't want to manage inventory anymore. And our community began helping her to get up to that next level where, like I said, she's not seeing or touching her inventory. It's all being bought online. So a couple of the other things we're going to talk about today, you're going to hear us talk about repricers. You're going to hear us talk a little bit about getting a virtual assistant. And I don't think I mentioned in the episode, so I'll mention now at the point we were talking about virtual assistants, our proven REPLENS VA program is on fire right now. Way over 200 clients have purchased a virtual assistant from us at this point who is trained to find profitable Amazon inventory just for you. We're training and vetting these candidates. All so far have been from the Philippines for around $4 per hour. They will work just for you, finding profitable inventory based on the systems that we teach here every day. So once you understand the system, once you're a proven Amazon course student or a coaching student in our program, there's a link about coaching in our at silentjim.com. Go check it out if you don't know. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking about that right now, but if you're a student of ours or a coaching student, you can get a virtual assistant from us, pay them $4 per hour, and they do nothing but work just for you and find replans all the time. I'm talking with our guest today about doing that in the near future, to free herself up even more and find even more profitable inventory. But without that step, she has built an incredible business. I think you're really going to love the infectious energy of our guest today. She has a lot of exciting things to share. She's very excited about the opportunity. And we're also honored to welcome her as one of the latest coaches on our team. Let's bring onto the line right now, Miss Anastasia Luna. Anastasia, welcome to the program.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I feel like I'm going to forget my English and just be like...
Oh, I'm sure you're going to do great. I've had the pleasure of getting to know you just a little bit through phone conversations recently, but man, I can't wait to introduce you to the community. So let's get into your story. There's a lot I still don't know about you. So let's go.
So my life story is that I'm originally from Russia. I came here as an au pair, which is like, like a student program for students from different countries where you come here and live with an American family and take care of their children. So that's how I came here. And then one thing led to another. I managed to stay in this country, and I was a bartender for like 12 years, which I hated. And I used to work in New York City. So it's like busy, but it's really not like a lot of money. And then in one of the places where I worked, this nice gentleman walks into the bar, and later I realized that his name is Adam Wilson, who is, who Adam Wilson is.
Absolutely. So, yeah. A great New Yorker who's part of our community with a great story of his own. Yeah.
Yeah. So he is always like at the bar at like 12 p.m. just having lunch and always in front of his computer. And I'm like, I wonder what he's doing. Maybe like some stocks or something, maybe some, IT that you can do from home. And I asked him, and he was like, oh, I do Amazon. And I had no idea, which I feel like a lot of people in the world still don't know that you don't really buy it from Amazon. You buy it from third-party resellers a lot of times. So
absolutely. I would say, I think the actual statistics, Anastasia, are that half of the products bought on Amazon any given day, which represents half of e-commerce in the US, by the way. Mm-hmm. But half of those transactions are third-party sellers like you, like me, like Adam, like those listen to this podcast. That's a quarter of all e-commerce, if you're doing the math, that is a third-party seller bringing their products to Amazon. Yeah, most people don't know that. You're absolutely right.
I had no idea. And then he like kind of explained it to me. And I was already so over bartending. I was like, because I was in fitness for a moment and I was looking into like different ways, because I do music. That's like my main thing that I do. But I needed something to like make money from, because music, and I'm in metal. So like there's really no money in metal.
That's pretty niche. That's pretty niche.
Yeah, right. Especially my kind of metal, because it's more like European symphonic metal. We can talk about this later. So he explained everything to me, and it did take me quite a while to actually start, because I'm not like tech savvy person. Well, now I am, because I have a YouTube channel and all of this. But at that time, I did not know what Google Sheets were. So to me, the idea of selling on some platform where you don't even touch your inventory and it goes to warehouse and it's you source, and it was just like, I thought I had to go to college and study for like 5 years to do this. So it took me a while, but he kept coming to the bar. We developed friendship, and he was like, listen, like if you want, we can totally go out for like lunch, and I will actually explain things to you more in depth. And then, so we had maybe like 4 or 5 meetings like this. And then he showed me your Facebook, MST Facebook. And I was like looking at it, and to like a person that never done anything in like e-commerce world, you open your Facebook and it's like Keepa, Inventory Lab, Buy Box, and everything just gets like, you get so overwhelmed. So
this new vocabulary, right? On top of learning a new language, now you're learning a whole new vocabulary, right?
Yeah. So like it still was like a bit overwhelming to me, but like what Adam said one sentence to me that kind of stuck with me forever, and I feel like that helped me a lot. He said that all of this, like Amazon FBA, all of this is made for like average intelligence. Like you don't need to be like a rocket scientist to do this. It's possible for everybody out there. So it kind of like stuck with me. So every time I had a problem of like, oh, I need to learn Google Sheets, or like I need to buy a new computer, I need to know how to use my Gmail without just different like things with Gmail, not just like sending and receiving emails, So, and in my head, it was always like, you're smart. It's possible. It's made for everybody. It's specifically made for people to be able to do it. You don't need to like go to college to do it.
Absolutely. And that, that's, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about this before, Anastasia, but I got into e-commerce 20 years ago and I started teaching some friends what I was doing that was working, and it grew into this over 20 years. But two of the promises I committed to as I began teaching others was, I'm never going to teach things that require someone to put a whole bunch of money at risk up front. I don't ever want to do that. And I don't ever want to teach anything that's technically complex, meaning you're going to have to study the technical details and really be kind of a nerd and dive into the techie weeds and be really good at math. Or I wanted stuff that, like you just said, average intelligence, reasonable amount of commitment, you can learn the process. I was committed to finding those types of opportunities and sharing them. So I love to hear you say that, because that tells me that we're doing our job well here.
Oh yeah, definitely. And everybody in the community was so supportive. Like any question is answered in like under a minute. I'm like, wow, like it didn't really feel like I was doing it alone. I had Adam and I had like the whole Facebook community. So, and then COVID happened. And by that time, it did take me about a year to start, but I'm very big on like, I'm going to research every single thing and then start. So when COVID happened, I lost my job and then I went hard with Amazon. And after New York City started opening up, I had like a gig over there, a night over there, like 2 shifts over here. But I never really like went back to bartending. And about 4 months ago, I quit finally.
Nice.
I'm retired. And actually it's funny because I'm retired from bartending, but my friend just asked me to bartend a private corporate party on Wednesday. So I'm like, fine, I'll come out of retirement for one night.
Yeah, but I better get some good tips or you owe me, right?
There are no tips, but they're paying me like a lot of, yeah.
You charge a lot. You charge a premium now.
Yes, I do.
That's so great. You mentioned, not to take you off topic, but you mentioned, I was pulling up on my phone while you were talking, Adam Wilson. His wife, Rachel, as I'm sure you guys have talked, is like I'm looking at her bio here. She's a 20-year veteran of cybersecurity. She's going to be one of our speakers at our upcoming Proven Conference. Yep, since you mentioned the Wilsons, for those who are watching on YouTube, that's off of our Proven Conference website. It's just really cool how it's a small world. Kind of once you get plugged into the community and start meeting people. And Adam's like, hey, you should probably meet my wife at some point. We had known the guy for years. I'm like, who's your wife? I'm like, she's one of the foremost cybersecurity experts in the world. She runs.
Oh my God, she's like,
yeah. She's the head of data security and risk. She's worked for the federal government and she's just going to give us some real practical tips on, stuff. If you're going to be using the internet for a living, hey, here's some things you should be doing. But it's just crazy, this community, how it just keeps producing fruit, these great people.
Definitely. And then like, I was doing like 10K. I got to 10K on my 3rd month, but like, I felt like I needed like, there was more for me to like discover and like
10K in your 3rd month, you said?
10K.
Nice. Well, you really ramped up fast once you got going. That's great.
Yeah, but then it was kind of like I got to 10K, and then it kind of like it was kind of
leveled off. Yeah,
leveled off. Yeah, so I felt like I just needed something more, and that's how me and Leah started talking. She's a coach for you guys now. She was doing, I think, a double than me, so I was like looking up to her a lot. And we became friends, and we went to the conference together, to your conference. I think it was in Tampa in July.
Last year in Tampa, right?
Yeah. And she showed me all of the other world of like Amazon, like Tactical Arbitrage and TE and all of those. And I started doing that. And now we have our own like small mastermind group with Jessica and Olsons and Leah and a lot of other people. So that's when my business started like going really up.
That's beautiful. And how long ago was that when you kind of got plugged in with some coaches from our team and things started to take off? What point was that?
So we went to Tampa in July. And
about a year ago at this point.
I think I joined the group around September, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha. And I love those stories of those organic relationships that form in this community. And one of the best ways to accelerate those is to attend one of our live events, like you mentioned. And the next one's coming up, The Proven Conference. I don't know if I just showed the picture, but I don't know if I mentioned the website, theprovenconference.com. That's August 12th through 14th. It's a great way to come. And like you just said, Anastasia, meet some of the people from this community, build some relationships, say, hey, how about we form a WhatsApp group? Let's stay in touch. Let's sharpen each other's skills here and ask each other questions. And
we talk like if I don't open our Facebook chat for a day, it's like 300 messages. It's crazy. Like sometimes like, oh my God.
How many of you are in that group now? Adam's in there too, right?
Adam is there too. 12 people, I believe. We're very VIP, we just
a very exclusive group, I'm sure. Like you got to know somebody from New York to even get in, right? That's what I've heard.
No, it's just me and Adam. It's just me and Adam are in New York, and everybody else is in Colorado.
Yeah. I was making a Midwest joke. We joke about the coast, like that's where all the important people live, is in New York or LA, right? I'm over here in a cornfield. No, that's awesome. I love it. So let's go through some of the specifics of, you've mentioned some tools, some people that you've met, but let's go through like, what do you do? Right? Because I mean, it's not that hard for you to imagine, Anastasia, those people who are thinking, okay, it's maybe not super intimidating, but I don't know what she does yet. She went from knowing nothing to building a viable business, but like, what do you do?
So I do use tools. I do use Tactical Arbitrage, which is a sourcing software. It does have a steep learning curve, and it's a massive software, but it's possible to learn it. It's made for average intelligence. You just have to like really sit with that. Mm-hmm. And honestly, until I actually met Leah and Jessica, because I had CA before, but again, because it's kind of complicated, I kind of gave up on it. But then I met Leah, and she showed me different ways to use it, because there are so many different ways to use that software. And now I use it like every day, all the time. I also do use some lead lists, but I try not to buy directly from them. It's more of like a guide, what's out there this week, So you open it and you're like, oh, Walgreens has 20% coupon. Okay, let me go to TA and run a scan on Walgreens with a 20% coupon. So that's how it is. I also like storefront stocking, which is definitely my favorite way of sourcing for products. It's when you go to somebody's Amazon store and just go through their products and source it that way. But TA can actually go through like 20 at a time. So you end up sourcing through like 5,000 products. So that's like my favorite way of sourcing.
Beautiful. Well, you've mentioned a few resources, and I like to keep my hat on of listening as if I'm a brand new seller to our community, mm-hmm. or brand new considering this opportunity. Let me just connect a few dots for the listeners, restating some of the same things that you just said. You mentioned you learned tactical arbitrage from your good friends Leah and now Jessica as well, and who both are coaches on our team. Well, they just came out with some brand new content it's called OA Simplified, as in online arbitrage simplified. You can find it at provenamazoncourse.com/OA Simplified. Brand new website. Only been out for a short time after this episode publishes. And you mentioned as well, and that's where they talk through how to use tactical arbitrage and go through and source online using the replens strategies that we talk about so much. They kind of merge TA and replens together in that training for the first time ever. We've never talked about such a thing. You talked about buy lists, and I love that you mentioned every time buy lists come up, I think it's vital to point out there's no one out there that's going to just hand you a list and say, go buy these things. Don't mm-hmm. do it that way. Now, we're coming pretty close with our Proven Replens VA program. I'll stick a link to that in the notes, because that person works only for you. Do you have a VA yet? Mm-mm. No? Okay, we'll get you there.
I think I'm going to be getting VA soon, because I want to do more music.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's another way, just like your friend Leah has done recently, quit her job, automated her business, working a few hours a day at the most now, and has a huge successful business, right? And she's using one of our virtual assistants who works only for her. So she is buying the stuff that VA finds. But if you're buying a list from someone who's selling that list to other people, you want to comb through it. But I love what you mentioned, Anastasia. You said you look at the list and use it as a starting point. And maybe you discover a new store. You mentioned Walgreens, which most people are going to be familiar with in the US, but maybe it's a store you've never heard of or an unusual source. Plug it into Tactical Arbitrage, see what's going on with that source, right? Find some, use it to bunny trail.
Or like something like if they do like, like MAC lipstick in red. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to buy it in red, but I'm going to go and buy other colors.
Let's see what the other colors are doing. Right. You use it to kind of bunny trail into new interesting directions and yeah, exactly. It's a starting point for you. And the other thing you mentioned was storefront stalking, right?
Yeah.
As it's called. You look at other sellers, see what they're selling, see what the potential there is. And we've got a course that another guy who happens to also be in your small group mastermind, Brian Olson, another one of our great coaches.
Brian, yes. Yeah, he does the Keep It. Oh my God, it's such an amazing course. You guys, if anybody's listening, you have to go and check that course out. It's amazing.
Yeah, Brian and Robin are just super sharp coaches on our team. And the course you're talking about, Anastasia, of course, is where you plug in a few stores that kind of look like yours, other Amazon sellers, and Keepa just kind of chugs through. Keepa is the tool that we talk about so much around here. For those who don't know, go back and listen to podcast episode 369 to learn what Keepa is, why we love it. It's $20 a month. We don't make any money selling it, but it's a great tool. But Brian talks you through how to use Keepa and other sellers, just the name of the store, to churn through and find replens very rapidly that would be good for you to sell against. And if you go back and find their episode, I may stick that in the show notes. Olson's had a great episode with me recently where we talked about that tool and that course in depth. It was, the website is silentjim.com/keepa list, KEEPA list, as in keep a list. silentjim.com/keepa list. That's the course, very inexpensive. It happens to also be part of the Proven Amazon course as well, sold separately and it's part of collection of modules. So all that, sorry to throw you off, Anastasia, but we have many new listeners. I like to keep them up to speed, the stuff we're talking about, tell them how to go find these resources. But let's keep your story rocking. So we were talking about what it is that you do, and you're talking us through some of that. What else is involved in your business? Are you packing a lot of boxes? Are you...
No, I'm retired from that too. So I don't, I'm actually with Ed from Heroic Prep. I know he was on a podcast recently.
Yes.
So I just started with them. He's actually my, I believe, 4th or 5th prep center. And I am happy to finally find home for my business. And, because he's a beast. I mean, like the way he does his business is just, everything is so efficient. Everything is, he's perfect. He's perfect. Like I worked with other 4 prep centers and, there were questionable things happening, but I'm really happy to be with him. So no, I don't pack anything, but I do believe it's very important, especially when you start, to kind of learn every aspect of the business. Sure. In case if Godzilla comes into the world and everyone dies, I will be able to do every single step of my business by myself. So for the first, I believe, like 4 months, I was prepping everything myself.
Right.
And I'm not from Midwest. I live in New York City, and I have roommates, and I have only this room. So I don't know if you remember my picture where I was literally sleeping on top of my inventory because everything was in one room, and yes. I was like twice a week. But it's like it was crazy. But like to me, it wasn't. Because I was just so excited to start.
How many square foot, like, not to be too intrusive, but just to paint a picture for people, like you're running a robust Amazon business out of an apartment you share with roommates.
I don't know square foot. Interruption.
No, that's like, what's the length of the 2 walls in front of you and next to you, approximately? The length, if you had to guess, 12 feet, 14 foot. Like it's a bedroom, right?
Yeah, it's a bedroom. I think this might be 12 and this one might be 14, 16.
100, let's say 200 square foot, approximately. That's, that's just to give people, paint them an image of like you're operating a robust Amazon business and you're not home much. You're on the go. You've got shows to do and things, you're a busy person, but out of that little spot, and you actually did have a picture, you were sleeping on your inventory, but you're running a very robust business on Amazon. And you mentioned a prep center, which is potentially another new word for folks. And you mentioned Ed at Heroic Prep, and we've got a at what's the website? prepcenternetwork.com is a free resource. I'm going to have a lot of things I got to put in the show notes today. But that's a list of all known prep centers where you can have your inventory delivered to them and they do the prep for you. So when you shop online, it sounds like exclusively you're shopping online, correct? And all your stuff just goes to a prep center.
Yeah, and
so
I don't
you don't have to be the one that touches it.
Yeah, I have some stuff here, just some returns for like that I sell on eBay, but it's definitely not to the extent that it was before. But again, like I do believe it's very important to know how to prep just in case something happens, just like to do every single step of the business by yourself. And another thing is that I do use tools, I do use softwares, I do use lead lists, but I did start with just manual sourcing, like in Replen course, and I did get to 10K in 3 months. So I do believe like you got to go through all the steps to get to where you need to be.
I didn't realize that you were, when we say manual sourcing, talk us through what that is. I know Adam did a lot of that in New York, and we were always impressed to see him walking back with boxes to his apartment. And talk us through when you say manual sourcing, what's that involve?
So I did do a little bit of RA, but again, I live in New York. I don't have a car, and cab would be like $45 to go to Target at the Bronx over here. But again, very important. Every step, you have to do it. So I did go to Target, and I would stand in front of the aisle and just like not scan, but like type into the seller app the name of the product, and then see all the bundles and everything, what's sold on Amazon, and then walk out with all these bags. So I did a little bit of RA, but again, it really didn't work for me because it takes about an hour and a half for me to get to Target. Then I have to carry all of this by myself back to my apartment. Then I have to prep it. Then I have to carry it to UPS. Like it was just crazy. So I started doing OA, which is online arbitrage, which you basically open Target website and you go one by one product, searching it on Amazon. Or you can do reverse sourcing. Let's say if there's some sort of a brand that is sold on Target website, you can go and search Target private label brand on Amazon and reverse source it towards Target website. I forgot my English there.
No, you're beautiful. It just, what you're illustrating is there's dozens of ways to find replens and to do the research. I mean, we've already mentioned 5 or 6 on this podcast episode alone, all of which are viable business models once someone understands what a replen is. And one of the things I always like doing, and there's a part of your story we haven't told yet, we'll get to it, but I think I want to do this next is I just want to have you describe what a replen is. Let's say I'm a new student and you're my coach. What's a replen, Anastasia? Help me. I'm confused.
I feel like I'm in school. I'm like, oh God. All right. Replen is an item that you go and you buy at a store and you sell for double, triple on Amazon. And it's called replen because you rebuy it and resell it again, and rebuy it and resell it again. So it's not like a clearance item. It's not something one-off buy kind of thing. It's something that you consistently replenish and consistently keep selling on Amazon. That being said, I think it's important to mention that some sale items are replens as well. So don't shy away from an actual consistent sale, like something like some brands have sales like once every month, once every 2 months. So I go and every 2 months I rebuy and I replan that same ASIN, that same inventory. Or I think Walgreens is like an awesome example because they always have BOGO 50. So even though it's a sale, it's technically a replen because you consistently go and rebuy and resell it.
Beautifully said. Yeah. It's inventory that's easily repurchased when you need more, that's selling at a nice profit. And so the strategy that the secret sauce to what we teach around here is we teach you how to identify those profitable ASINs, those underserved ASINs on Amazon. That's what it means to become skilled in the replens strategy. And then inventory is really all around you. So what's your favorite sourcing strategy right now? You mentioned the buy lists. You mentioned you're using some tactical arbitrage. Are you doing, and you're doing this yourself still because you don't have a virtual assistant yet. So like if you had 2 hours to find as many profitable replens as you could right now, what would you go do?
I would probably run storefront stocking on TA. But again, when it comes to replans, let's say that's what I used to do like on my second month of selling just without tools. So let's say I used to sell this brand, Thrive. You can't sell it anymore, guys, so don't buy it. They issue IP complaints. But it was a really, really, really good replan. So I would go and I would see who is selling this brand, and then I would go to those stores and see what else they're selling. Because if they found that replan, they probably have other replans as well. But now it's all automated, and I do that through TA.
Hey, we'll get back to the show in just a second, but I want to tell you about the repricer that we use for my account, and many of the leaders on our team use as well. It's Be Cool. You can power up your replen business and ramp up your Amazon sales with Be Cool's latest brand new conditional repricer. It has artificial intelligence, machine learning built in. You can auto switch between many different artificial intelligence repricing rules like inventory levels or sales velocity, profit margin, countless other conditions. Mix and match different conditions up to hundreds of customized combinations that allow you to have a very distinct strategy that gives you a unique edge. The possibilities are endless with Be Cool's Amazon repricer. Here's the deal. Sign up with our exclusive link for listeners of this show at silentjim.com/repricer. That's silentjim.com/repricer. To be eligible for a 30-day free trial, no credit card is required. For more information, go to Be Cool's page, silentjim.com/repricer. Check it out. Hey, let's get back to the show.
And I would see who is selling this brand, and then I would go to those stores and see what else they're selling. Because if they found that replan, they probably have other replans as well. But now it's all automated, and I do that through TA.
Right. You can cover so much more ground, so much more quickly. I mean, any of us can, if we're curious, find another seller who looks like they're doing replens and click on their store name and scroll through their inventory and get some ideas.
That's like my favorite way of sourcing. And it's not just looking exactly what they're selling, but they might be selling some sort of a brand that you've never heard of. And then you go on the website and there are 10 more products that you can
yes. You open one door and there's 5 more doors behind it. And you just find yourself kind of, again, bunny trailing is the best word we ever come up with. Just kind of bouncing through these different lead sources, looking at what other people are doing on Amazon and saying, hey, could I sell that profitably too? And sometimes when this topic comes up, Anastasia, people say, oh, I kind of feel bad. I'm selling what that person sells. That conversation I had with Brian and Robin Olson really covered this well. But the nature of replens is you're selling right alongside other sellers. That's what a replen is. There's going to be other sellers and you're all making a profit. It's beautiful, right? So on some of your ASINs, for example, how many other sellers do you see on some of your profitable ASINs?
Oh my God, it could be anywhere from 5 to 55. If it's something that goes really fast, like there's this one brand that I would go and I would like, if it's a sale, I would buy probably like 10,000 worth of different items of different model. And some of those ASINs do have like 70, 80 people in it, but it just goes so fast that I don't even care how many.
Right. And you don't have to be the lowest price to win the buy box.
No.
It's price in the middle.
I do have a repricer and my minimum is set to 25 ROI. I usually sell it higher, but my minimum is 25. And I know some people go down to like 15%, which again, like it's a different strategy. It's like what you want for your business. Once I scale to like 100K a month, which hopefully should be soon, I probably will lower it to 20%, maybe even lower, because I will have the volume and it will be going fast and I will still have enough money for me and to support my business. But right now I'm at 25% and my repricer just does the job of everything. And repricers are very important, people. I got my repricer on literally second month because I started listing my products, and every time I would come in, somebody would like beat me price wise and I would have to manually adjust it. And then I just got to reprice it because reprices are just so much faster.
Exactly. Yes. And we teach people typically once they've got about 100 ASINs, it's time to seriously consider a repricer.
Oh,
About
I
how
got
many
it
ASINs would you say
20,
you were selling against when you got yours? Do you remember?
like 20. I mean,
Yeah.
like right
You got it
away.
really fast.
Right
Yeah.
away. I got so I started treating it as business right
Hmm.
away because I
Yeah.
know I wanted to do it full time. I know I wanted to do it on a certain level, and it was COVID, so there was nothing else for me to do. So I was
Hmm.
like, you know what, just all in, let's go. 12 hours a day, Amazon. So I got Inventory Lab, Keepa, I got Repricer, a bunch of different softwares, IPs, and everything. So I got it
Rev. Do
right
you
away.
use Rev Seller by any chance?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
RevSeller was the first thing that I bought. I don't know
Yeah.
what I would have done without RevSeller.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing.
Keepa and then Rev Seller are the two that I rely on the most. Like if I just want to go find some ASINs, if I got Keepa and Rev Seller, I'm dangerous. You take away Rev Seller, I can still function. But Keepa and Rev Seller, Keepa is the one you have to have, obviously.
Yeah.
Does things that no other tool does. But yeah, that's beautiful. It gives people some perspective. Which repricer are you using? I'm sure people are wondering. You've mentioned it.
I use Aura now. Aura.
Go Aura. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
See, I can't even pronounce it. But before I used to use Be Cool, which
Right.
was like 4 times cheaper. And it did the job. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody needs to pay $100 for more expensive repricer. Be Cool did amazing. It's just once I scaled to like 30,000 a month, I'm like, I can go up with my repricer a little bit more. So I switched to Go Aura.
Yeah, and it's interesting on our coaching team. We've got in our core coaching, leadership, content creation team. There's about 100 of us, and I think we're pretty split, and among the 4 or 5 major repricers on who uses which ones. And it's just a matter of which one you're comfortable with. Like I'm still with Be Cool. That's what we use.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Be
using
Cool
Go Aura. I used to use Go Aura, and we switched to Be. So we kind of did the opposite of what you did. But it's a preference thing, right? It's just a preference thing.
Yeah.
Well, here's something else we could talk about. It's pretty cool. You are our latest coach on our team. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I was so excited when Brian mentioned it. I was like so flattered because I always kind of felt like a black sheep in all of this. Because everybody like has families and homeschools their children, and everybody has like all these houses, and and I just want to go on tour with Marilyn Manson for the next 20 years. So
right, exactly.
I was so different from everyone. And then he was like, "No, people are different. People have connection with different people. You don't have to be any certain way. It's cool that you're different, and people will find something in you that they will."
The expectation we have is you've built a successful business. Step 1, that tells us a lot about you because that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, you obviously are ambitious and driven and committed to the process. A lot of people can't do that. You did. Step 1. The others have a teacher's heart, and that's what we like to recognize. And our coaches, do they have a teacher's heart? Do they genuinely care about helping others succeed? And just the way you've described the relationships, the way you found Adam and then getting with Leah and Jessica and all these other people that have become some of your best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Very diverse worldviews and family situations, but we've got those 2 things in common, and we've been able to build something pretty incredible as a community as a result. So that's phenomenal. And welcome aboard. It's going to be exciting working with you.
I think building a relationship is actually very important. And I think Leah switched my mind when it comes to that, because I've always been more like a lone wolf, I'm always by myself. I want to be alone. But then the power of community is so big. And I actually never knew that it could be this way. I always thought that, no, I'm going to write my music by myself. I'm going to record by myself. I'm going to do everything by myself. But now I have actually a band. Before I was like a solo artist, and now I have a band. And with Amazon, I have a band of 12 people doing Amazon.
It's so
much
cool.
easier. Yeah, it's so much easier and so much more fun. And definitely your community and Leah, they taught me the power of relationship and the power of community. And that it's more fun, it's easier, and it's just better to have people on your side.
Well, have you ever heard me say it before, Anastasia, that there's a reason why, in military campaigns and in war, if one side captures the other's hardened soldiers, the most fit, hardened, hardcore, hard to break soldiers, the only thing you have to do to break them. Have you ever heard me talk about that before? Only thing you have to do to break the hardest mentally, physically strong man of battle is put him in isolation for a few days and don't tell him how long he's going to be there.
Oh my God, that would have, yeah. I love being by myself.
And you've destroyed him psychologically. But we do this to ourselves for some reason. Like we're not made for that. We're not made for isolation. So what's the opposite of that? Community, friendships, relationships, getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, even if you're an introvert, right? Which you're not, are you? You don't strike me as an introvert.
I'm both. I think I'm very
a lot of performers are, surprisingly, sometimes we learn.
I don't know. I like being alone. I like being away from everyone, but at the same time.
And that's good for a season. Sure.
Yeah. If I go out somewhere, I'm like, walk in and I'm a star of the place.
Right. You use your hands a lot. For those who aren't watching on YouTube.
I do.
You need a hat so you can like wave it a little bit,
I'm not like shy or anything, and I can talk, like I don't have like a fear of like people or like public speaking or anything like that. So I feel like I'm both. Like it's weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of people are a mix. I think I've kind of drifted into being a mix after being an extreme introvert for so long. But the point I'm making is if we try to do life in isolation, the vast majority of the time, if we become characterized by being isolated, that's not a good place to be. And obviously it sounds like you're on a journey towards including people more.
I'm excited. I always used to say that with my Amazon, I want to get to like, 60 to 70K a month because my life is my music. And even though I love this business, I love Amazon and I have so many ideas for private label because I have a YouTube channel and it's pretty big. So I want to like have private label products that would be sold to like my people,
something that complements the audience that's kind of gathered around what it is that you do. And we'll stick a link to your YouTube channel in the notes as well today if people want to kind of go check it out. I mean,
it's very metal though. So
but it's people are going to want to know who is it that they're getting to know, and this is who you are, and this is what you've built, and so we'll stick a link to it. But absolutely, the opportunity is there for you to. And an audience is a great place to start when you start building a brand.
So
right?
now I think my goal is 100K. I think 70K is
a month.
Yeah.
There you go. No reason you can't. I mean, that's where your mentors, Leah, our two coaches, Leah and Jessica, both just hit that rolling 30 days. I know.
Right? Yeah, I'm so excited for them.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that they were kind of where you are, and not that long ago.
I know. Right? I remember.
Yeah.
When we were at the conference last year, I think everybody was like around like 25K or something. And then
which is a beautiful business.
I know. And a year is not that long. A year is a very short period of time to get to selling $100,000 a month. It's over $1 million a year. Like it's, you can scale really fast. So I'm super excited.
That's right. Yeah, it's coming. You've got the system, the tools, the knowledge. You're on your way, and being a coach on our team too, you're going to be exposed to some really exciting, interesting people who are going to help your business. It's great. It's great to be in a business where people pay us to learn, and then we end up benefiting beyond the payment, the relationship, and then the knowledge that person brings, and the new strategies they bring. And some of those relationships are just going to blow you away. Like, I'm getting paid to do this. This is great. So,
I mean, I talk about Amazon all day, every day. Might as well just,
might as well get paid to do it, right?
Yeah,
so what are your numbers right now? We haven't hit specifically. Like, how'd you do last 30 days?
I'm still at 40K.
40?
So I do. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, what's your net? Don't forget that.
I'm about like 17% margin.
17? Net. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gotcha.
So
7,000 or so in the bank.
Yeah. I know people do like 22, 23, 24. But again, I feel like it's, my repricer is a 25% ROI. Yeah. And I'm looking at this point, I'm looking to scale as fast as possible, as opposed to get as much profit as possible. So it's whatever you want, because I'm just me, I don't have mortgage. I don't have a car. I don't have school loans. I don't have children. So I don't really need a lot of money for myself. I don't go out. I don't really spend money. I don't like shopping. So I really don't need a lot of money to survive. So I would rather go faster and put everything I have into the business. And then once I get to like 70, 80, maybe I will up my repricer, or maybe I even lower it to 20% ROI.
It's a general rule of business that the higher velocity inventory trumps slower inventory at slightly better margins. Just
Yeah.
generic business models. So, you know what? I'm looking out my front window as we're recording this, and our son has a dog who I can see out my window has escaped. So I've got to send a text to my son saying your dog is loose. Hold on
What kind of
just a second.
dog?
He is a beautiful, stubborn corgi.
Oh my God, like the queens.
Exactly. I mean, and those dogs are a mess. I mean, they think they own the world and they're the cutest things, but
I have a huge husky and English bulldog.
and aren't those big?
No, it's at my fiance's house.
Oh, okay. I got you. I was like, how does that fit?
But I consider them mine. So
Sure. Okay. I got you. Well, that explains it. Okay. I've sent the text to my kid. Hopefully we'll get that figured out, but the little diversion. Oh, that's so funny. He is a cute little guy though, but man,
I
what an
love
attitude.
dogs.
So, all right, what else do we need to cover? I'm wondering if you had anything on your list, anything that you wanted to like suggestions for the listeners or someone who's thinking about this business model, any tips or strategies like that. I think we've gone through your story pretty well. We certainly gave people a lot of resources and ideas how you've gone from knowing nothing, having a conversation with a guy eating lunch, to now a year and a half later, approximately, really plugged in and succeeding and coaching on our team. Just a beautiful journey. But what else is on your list that you might think of?
Just for people that start, don't be afraid. It's possible. And honestly, I don't think I work exceptionally hard on Amazon. Yes, I do put in time. I do it every day. But it's really not to the point where you have to like work 16 hours a day to get to where you want to be, and there's so many ways to like automate this process now. And don't be scared of complicated softwares. They're still very, very, like once you get to know the software, it's like a person, like they will do what you tell it to do. So yeah,
That's great tips. Yeah. And I always love hearing from folks who came in kind of a little intimidated by
I was
e-commerce.
terrified.
I don't want to overstate, but yeah, you were okay. Well, I'll use the word since you did. You were terrified of technology, e-commerce, this whole arena. Like you said, am I gonna have to go to school for 5 years to learn? But no, you've taken it one little bite at a time, and I think that determination and willingness to learn are really the assets you needed, right?
Yeah, and you have like the whole community of like, what is it now? Like 80,000 people, 90,000 people?
The Facebook group, we're coming up on 70,000. Yeah.
70,000?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you have all those people. I was so impressed and humbled and when I found your community, because like literally everybody's like trying to help each other. Mm-hmm. And again, me coming from a place where I'm like, no, I don't need anyone. I want to do everything on my own. And then all these people that are like, taken time out of their day to actually explain things to me. And, a lot of people would like DM me with things. And that's how I started being friends with Leah. We started talking about IP and she sent me her IP template kind of thing. And, people are just so helpful and like literally like each other's biggest cheerleaders, which is so cool. So you're not alone when you start, especially when you start within this community. You're really not alone. People will be there for you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I would say I count it among the proudest of the achievements of the, I've been in e-commerce for 20 years now. I've been a part of a lot of other people's communities and I've taken a lot of courses and trainings and coachings and things over the years. And now we do it ourselves. And if you had me rank out the proudest achievements, having built a leadership team that's capable of cultivating the kind of culture that you see here, that cooperative culture where once you step in, you don't feel like you're among competitors. You feel like you're among cheerleaders who want your best performance and results. And they expect a lot of you, but they're going to cheer you every step of the way. We're not here to beat each other up. And I contrasted, I don't know, Anastasia, if you've ever been on Amazon's support forums. Have you ever spent much time there by any chance?
Like actual like Seller Central support forum?
If you go into Seller Central, then go into the support forums.
Yes, everybody is very,
It's aggressively negative. Would you say
very,
that's
very aggressive and very like, somebody asked about, I was looking into different ways of getting ungated in different brands and different categories. And somebody in that forum asked, do you guys have a supplier to get ungated in like Mac or like, one of those like makeup brands? Sure. And people were like, who do you think you're asking this question? We would never tell you. And I'm like, just don't answer. Like, why you have to fight people?
It's like, not only am I going to not answer your question, I'm going to tell you how much I hate you for asking the question. Like, what?
It was so weird.
Right.
How did you get an idea of actually starting some sort of a community?
Out of pure necessity of, not to tell my story too much, people have heard it, but for your sake, if you've never heard that part of it, I started succeeding online and my friends started asking me, kind of like you and, Adam, like, started having conversation, but like, hey, how do you do that? What is it you're doing exactly? And I answered that question so many times
that you're like, I'm just going to put it out there.
I'm going to put it into a little report, and that report turned into a book, and that book turned into a community of people that want to talk about the book a little bit more. And, you jump forward 20 years and this podcast has had 4 million downloads on iTunes and, all these thousands of followers on YouTube. And, I'm just continuing to serve the community as best I can, surrounding myself with other leaders, people that have a teacher's heart like you who are succeeding. And that becomes our core team. So yeah, I didn't set out to really do any of it. It's just, what does the community want? What do they need? How can we serve them and lead them into the success that we're experiencing? That's what's driven us each step.
Okay. I have your signed book.
You have?
Yeah, actually, Adam, before I even started doing this, he was like, I'll get you a book. And he went to the conference and he asked you to autograph it.
Really? I vaguely remember that he asked for a second copy because Adam and I are, we've had some pretty cool moments together. And
I know. Yeah.
He is a special dude. And the more I get to know him, the cooler he becomes. And I vaguely remember him saying, hey, I've got this friend that I'm trying to influence. Would you sign a copy to her as well? That was you. No way. That's so great. I need to update that book. It's so outdated. I'm almost embarrassed. But I'm so behind on that project. But because that one's 4 or 5 years old now at this point. But the book, the title of this podcast is Silent Sales Machine Radio. That's the book, and it's outdated. Don't buy it. But a new version is coming.
The main things are still the same.
Yeah, a lot of it is. I'm a perfectionist, though. Maybe I need to have someone coach me out of that. Do you do coaching for people who are fighting perfectionism by any chance?
I'll listen to Gary Vee for that.
Oh, yeah. That's what I've heard, man. He'll tear you up on that one, won't he?
Oh, I love him.
Just get the product out there. Yeah, he's a New Yorker. You New Yorkers get each other, don't you? That's right.
Oh, my God. I love him. Every time I'm... I wake up and I don't want to because it's not like I have a job now to go to, I'm like, oh, it's not like I have to start sourcing right now. Let me have another half an hour in bed. And then I put Gary Vee and he's like, get up,
he punches you in the face, right?
I'm like, okay, I'm up.
Right. That's so great. Well, Anastasia, it's been really fun hanging out with you again. And it was just about a week or so ago, we got to know each other for the first time and as a new coach and welcome you to the community. And I think folks are going to love seeing your work and being maybe one of your coaching students and just, welcome to the team. We've got over 60 coaches now. And so you're going to, I think, get to know some of those new coaches. And
I'm so excited.
It's going to be a great adventure. And I'm excited as well. Thank you for the energy you bring and for your passion for the opportunity. I think you did a really great job today. There's going to be some people that you resonate with that they think I'm just, it's just Jim. Like, oh, no, her, now I'm interested. I want her to coach me, right? You're going to have that. Your inbox is going to blow up. Your inbox is going to blow up, man. And we're excited to have you on the team. But anything else you wanted to go over before we start to wrap this one up?
No, just start. Whoever is new, guys, just start. It's possible. It's really not that hard. And if I did it, you can do it. It's really not that hard.
That's beautiful. Beautifully said. Thank you for encouraging folks. And I believe in the opportunity. And I think this is just the latest evidence that the stuff we're teaching works. And I'm excited to get you to that magic $100,000 a month. I think you're going to get there. I think you're going to get there a lot faster.
I'm still getting there. I'm on it. I'm in my mind, I'm already there.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. You're going to make a great coach. I'm so excited. Well, Anastasia, it's been really fun hanging out with you. Let me talk to the listeners for just a minute as we start to wrap this one up. And man, like I say every episode, it seems like these days, I hope you had as much fun as I did. Although in this case, I'm pretty sure that the listeners had as much fun as I did. You're just such a delight, Anastasia. It was such an infectious energy, I think is the best way to capsulate. But thank you for hanging out with Anastasia and I today. You gave us a very valuable gift. That's the most valuable resource you have, some of your time. So thank you for that. We truly appreciate and value that. And we hope in return that it's a great investment for you, that we've encouraged you and equipped you with some knowledge and information that can blast you to that level. If you're looking to grow a business online, Anastasia and I would both say, hey, the Proven Amazon course is a great way to go. Jump in. If you want to get a coach, there's a link at silentjim.com. You can request Anastasia if you want. She's a new coach on our team now. We've got a bunch of great ones. Her calendar might be full by the time you see this. I don't know, but we are certainly open to getting your phone call. And we've got a whole bunch of really good people who are ready and willing and capable. And like we said earlier, the thing all of our coaches have in common is they've built an incredible business using the strategies we teach from the Proven Amazon course curriculum. And they've got a teacher's heart. They love seeing other people succeed. They don't see you as a competitor. They see you as a fellow business building warrior on a very similar journey. And we're supporting and encouraging each other in that journey, because the more success stories we create, the more opportunities come for all of us. We've learned that lesson. That's built into our culture. So thanks for hanging out with Anastasia and I a little bit today. It was truly a pleasure. Until next time. Hey, one last shout out to you, Anastasia. You were awesome.
Thank you.
You were just truly awesome guest today. Thank you. And to all the business building warriors listening today, hey, God bless you guys. We'll see you again next time with another great episode. Talk to you then. Hey, before I let you go, I want to remind you about our latest sponsor for the program, Be Cool. They're a repricer that will help you power up your replen business and ramp up your Amazon sales with their latest conditional AI machine learning. That's artificial intelligence repricing. Auto switch between several different artificial intelligence repricing rules like inventory levels, sales velocity, units sold. There's several different, actually hundreds of different strategies that you can use, unique combinations that will give you a creative advantage over anyone else who's selling on the same ASINs that you are. You can get their special offer, which includes 30-day free trial, no credit card required. Incredible offer. Go to silentjim.com/repricer. Again, silentjim.com/repricer. Thanks for sponsoring the program, Be Cool. Go check out this offer.